Side-lying shoulder, sleeper, internal rotation, pails and rails. God, that's a lot of mouthful. Right, so,
a lot of words.
A lot of words. For this, we're going to set up laid on our side. We want those knees just below those hips. Open up a little bit, Liv. Beautiful. Main key focus on this is making sure the position of the shoulder blade. So you set yourself up stacked up, and then we're going to pull this bottom arm through and then lay back down so the floor is trapping the shoulder blade against the floor, against the body. We want the arm to come out about 45 degrees. We can play with the angle if we need to or we want to. 45 degrees is ideal because we're really targeting all the deepest layer of stuff within this shoulder. From here, elbow gets bent. And we're just gently going to rotate that down. So we should set ourselves up so knuckles are pointing towards groin. So Liv's just going to use her right hand to gently place it on top and let that stretch for a minute or two while we're talking about the rest of it. So the idea with pails and rails is to create space within the joint. In this case, it's about the shoulder capsule itself. Internal rotation being the most important motion of the shoulder. If you've experienced frozen shoulder, this is a good option to help overcome some of that adhesive tissue that's going on. As always, it's about ensuring we don't elicit pain. It may feel a little bit funky in the shoulders, even just with this passive stretch going on, and it's likely you're going to feel that kind of stretch stuff through this area, maybe a little bit on the back. And if it's chatting to us, that's okay. We just do not want sharp, horrible pain. In which case we can work up to and flirt with by varying the amount of pressure and effort we're putting into the body. So pails and rails. So we've got our pails contractions first, our progressive angular isometric loading. That means all this stuff that we're currently got on stretch, we're going to contract first. Rails is the regressive, so all the stuff inside this shoulder joint that's going to help it rotate further is our second contraction. All the way through, we want to make sure our body, our base is nice and solid. The first thing we will do from here, once we've got this set up right, and this arm's had its stretch for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes, Liv is going to take a nice breath in. She's going to fill up her abdomen and make tension in there. She's going to allow that tension to flow through her body, through this right arm, through into her legs and squeeze it up about 10% of her max effort. She's then going to wind it up to 20%, 30, 40, and on up to 60%. You may not be at 60% to start off with. Go with what's been prescribed. Now that base is sat at 60% of her max effort, she's going to do the same with her arm. So from that shoulder, she's going to try and rotate her bicep backwards, pushing that wrist up into her hand. 10% increments. Building all the way up to 60% of her max effort. Cool, we're going to hold here for 10 to 15 seconds. When we go into our rails contraction, the target is not the knuckles on the floor. It is the base of the wrist. It may not go anywhere to start off with, and that is okay. So on the count of 3, and when I call reverse, Liv's going to reverse that contraction. She's going to rotate her bicep towards the floor. 3, 2, 1, reverse. She's not lifting this hand. The gap is being created by rotating that bicep down. Going to keep working for a good 10 seconds. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the top hand on top. Relax all the contractions through the body. Don't allow that arm to spring back up. Long, slow breaths. So we want to calm that breath rate right down, calm the nervous system down before we go and do further reps and sets. How's that feeling, that shoulder?
Fine.
Fine?
Mm-hmm.
Juicy in here?
It's quite used to it, but I know that if I push further, it's with the next round, it'll be a little bit
through that
stretchy through the rotator.
Cool.
Which is fine. It's just sinking down to the floor now. It knows what to do.
So we're going to do one more set for here, just so you get an idea of how we go about it. So setup is exactly the same. Liv's going to take a breath in, tension in the abdomen, allow it to flow through the body, including the legs. She's going to squeeze those up 10% increments to 60% of her max effort. We always go to that first layer of tension that we used. Now the shoulder. She's going to start rotating that bicep backwards, 10% increments, pushing that wrist up into her supporting hand. Feel all that rotator cuff meat working away. Once she's got to her 60%, she's going to hold it for 10 seconds. Now we're going to wind the whole body and that working limb up another 10%. So we want to feel a step change, go in there and squeeze it up. 70% of the max effort. Hold for another 8 to 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retaining that 70% effort. Let's rotate that bicep down. Do not allow the rest of the body to move. Keep that at 70% as well. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, it may not go anywhere. And that is okay. All we're doing is getting the neural pathway from the brain to that tissue connected. It needs force. We've got to internally generate it. In 3, 2, 1, block it off. Beautiful. Long, slow breaths. Let all the tension in the whole body go. Further sets and reps are going to follow the same pathway. After you've finished, go through a few shoulder cars, lock in that new range of motion. Like I say, don't go into pain. Flirt with the discomfort. Any questions? Let us know.